Hi everyone, my name is Laura Milligan. Happy Monday to you. I hope you all had a great weekend. I did. I got to go down to Virginia and visit my daughter and son-in-law, and we had a great time. My daughter is a um, singer, and she was performing this weekend, so I got to go and hear her, which was, of course, awesome and definitely a highlight of the weekend. But it was great just getting away and spending some time with her and my wonderful son-in-law, Gabe. So um, thank you for joining me. I hope you've all had a good weekend, and I have just a couple quick things I want to tell you about. First is we still have a lot of items on our clearance rack. Stampin' Up! They refreshed the clearance rack on December 1st, which was last Wednesday, and I keep thinking, how can it possibly be December? But it is, and so there are still a lot of really good products on that clearance rack, so you want to be sure to check that out. And then we also have our year-end sale, so there are some big discounts on certain things, and along with that are also some products that are retiring, and if they're on your wish list, you're going to want to be sure to snatch them up. So don't forget to do that. And then I have another bingo event coming up, and when I'm done with my Facebook Live today, I will attach the registration information. So if you'd like to play along with us, we always have so much fun. We craft. We're going to do 4 super cute projects. You get a packet of products that you'll be able to use for the cards we'll be making, and then you'll have a lot left over for future projects. And I always include 2 lucky bingo cards for you, and I always include some kind of a fun snack. And I think this month, because it's December, we're going to do cookies and hot chocolate. So that will come to you in your bingo packet, and it's done via Zoom. If you've never done Zoom before, it's actually really easy, and I would be happy to walk you through it if you need help for the first time. But our bingo is really fun. It's a really nice group of ladies that normally participate each month. And so if you've ever thought about trying, I would encourage you to do that this month. So I am going to go ahead and flip my phone down. Let's see here. Okay. So I'm going to start out by giving away these. This is a box that I made last week, and I always give whatever projects I made the prior week, I give those away in a drawing by people that have left a comment. So I have 2 this week that I'll be giving away, and the first one is going to my friend Mary Ann, and this one is going to Debbie Lindsay. So these are fun. These actually, I sort of designed them as a way to present a gift card to someone, because I think it makes it, of course, look more like a gift. And of course, you could put anything in there. I think if I was using it for a gift card, I would add some shreds and put the little gift card in that. You could do chocolate in this. You could add really any small little gift, jewelry, any kind of candy or treat, that kind of thing. So these are going to Mary Ann and to Debbie. So I will get in touch with both of you about getting them to you. And yeah, Colleen unfortunately loves to play bingo, and she's not able to do it this week, but it is really, really fun. And I don't think I mentioned that the prizes are Stampin' Up! Product, so that's always really fun. So, okay, I have 2 projects that I'm going to share with you today. The first one, and I'm going to go ahead and show this to you. This is, I love my little framed vignettes, and so this is a small frame. I get these at the big box store, so I think you could find them online as well, but this is just a cute little frame. It would sit up like this, cute on a desk, anything like that. I'll keep this flat, and let me show you how this goes together. This is actually just a quick, easy project. I am using for my trees the Christmas tree dies, and this is part of the Whimsical Trees bundle, which I love. And the trees, so there's 2 different sizes of dies. So there's that one and that one. And so for my frame, I used 2 of the smaller and then 1 of the larger trees. And these are on the retiring list, so they will be going away. When our new mini catalog starts, they will be gone. So I I love this set of dies. I think it's really great. So what I have done is I've already cut my trees, and I did those in watercolor paper. And so here is one, and I just wanted to show you how to do this, but I did these 3 ahead of time because what I found was, well, first of all, I like to use the watercolor paper for this because it will, of course, hold more water. When I tried it with just my regular basic white, I just felt like it wasn't holding the water as much as I wanted it to, and I really wanted to saturate it with color. And the other thing I found out was when you do this, you need to have your watercolor paper dry before you continue on with the project. So, for example, when I added my champagne rhinestones here, the watercolor paper needed to be dry. So I'm going to set these 3 aside for a moment. I'm going to put my dies back in my case here real quick. And then I am using our water painters. And they come, it's a set of 3. And I'm going to use for this the bigger, like it's like a brush tip. And so you can see the water is flowing. And I'm just going to take my old olive ink, and you can either squeeze this like this to pick up some ink color in the base of your pad. And so that's sort of what I did. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick up some ink. Wait, let me move this over here a little bit so you can see. So I'm picking up ink from the lid, and I'm just going to cover this tree, the whole thing, like that. And then I want to have some darks and some lights on this so they look a little more realistic. So I'm going to actually pick up some ink directly from the ink pad and just sort of blot that on here and there. And really, there's no rhyme or reason. I'm just sort of adding some darker color. And let me pull that over, and you can see what that looks like. And you can really just keep adding till you get the look that you like. I like that. I think that looks pretty good. Then when you're done, what you want to do is just brush your water painter onto your scrap paper till it comes clean. You want to get all the color out of there so that the next time you go to use it, it's ready to go. And you could use it on any color of ink. So that looks pretty clean. All right, so I'm going to set this one aside, and like I said, you want it to dry. Okay. All right. I'm going to pull up my little grid mat here, and next thing I'm going to do is take this little shape, and this is from the Stitch So Sweetly dies. This is a set of dies that I go to time and time again, and I love these little scalloped stitched rectangle shapes, and look how they go from small to large. And then there's also some great additional shapes. So what I'm going to do for this is take one of my blending brushes, and this is one of those tools. These are sold in sets of 3. It's one of those tools that makes you feel like an artist, sort of like the water painters do as well. So I'm going to use Pool Party ink, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color to this background. And what I like to do is swirl my brush around, and I like to do a little bit off my project, like on a scrap paper. Just going to do a little bit there, just so it looks like the sky. Right, okay, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. So then what I'm going to do, I'll put this away. This is a super quick project. I actually got up one morning. Sometimes in the morning I wake up with these ideas, and this was one, and I thought, I love these little frames, and I thought I wanted to do something with these little trees, and this is what I came up with. So now I'm using a crumb cake blend. This is dark crumb cake. And hey everyone, I am going to just do a splatter on this. And what I like to do for that is use the brush tip, and I'm just going to hit this like that. And you can do as little or as much as you want, and it sort of goes everywhere. It's kind of hard to control exactly where it goes, and I think that looks pretty good. You can do as little or as much as you want. All right. So now I'm just going to take these 3 trees that I did earlier that are already dry, and I'll position those where I want them to be. They were sort of just kind of staggered like that. So I'm going to start, this one is going to be popped up, so I'm going to adhere these first. And I'm just going to use my Tombow glue. I think these make nice little gifts. I like sitting them on my desk or on my kitchen windowsill. Let me see. I think my glue is stuck. And I've been keeping a glue here with a little straight pin attached to it, and I took it with me this weekend. So let's see if I can get this glue going here. Bear with me here. Let's see. Hold on here. I could actually probably use glue dots, but and now we have a siren going by. Yeah, let me see if I can. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My glue is kind of blobbed here. Oh, I think it's an ambulance. That's what happens when you do Facebook Lives, right? Yeah, we have an ambulance going down the street. I hope that everybody is okay. Sometimes what I do with this, if you squeeze it and there you go. Okay. There's enough glue to make 100 of these. Okay. I just go with it though, right? What can I do? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue here and at the bottom. And now it's really blobbing out. So I got to be careful I don't get too much on here. I'm going to dab some of that off. Okay. Now you know what happens when you do these things live. You just don't know what to expect, right? It's kind of like doing live theater. All right, so there's that. And then I'm going to do this tree. And again, it's just, I don't need a lot of glue. A little dab will do ya. Okay, I'm going to put that there. And that one's going to go right here like this. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to take a mini dimensional and I'll put it on the back of this one. We've had kind of crazy weather today here. It was pouring down rain this morning when we got up, and now it's like windy. And okay, so I'm just going to set that there like that. And then I need to just tack these ends down a bit here. So I'm going to put a little glue on the ends of those. And a little bit on here, which I thought I put some on here. And you know what, sometimes what I like to do is if I want something to stick like that, I just put like a clear block on there. Oh, Debbie says she's having a whiteout right now. Wow. Crazy. So I just let that sit there for a second, and it should, well, you know what, I think this one I didn't put the glue. I think the glue was too high. I think this is going to be a blooper-filled Facebook Live, but I just go with it. I know you guys understand. Okay, so there we have that. I'm going to let that sit there for a second, and while that is drying, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. So I wanted just this little Mary, and I found one, and it's in the Christmas to Remember stamp set. So what I did was I was looking for a little label shape, and I found this one, which is from the hydrangea dies. And so what I did was I took my Early Espresso ink and my Mary. I think I can pick this up now. Yeah, so now it's holding in place. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stamp it on here first just to see. Yep, that looks good. Okay, so I'm going to stamp this just centered on there like that. And you know what, I'm going to do it again. I have an extra. Sometimes I do extras of these because sometimes when you're stamping, you push too hard or it's not inked up quite right. So I'm going to go ahead and do another one. I could use that one, but I think I can do it. I think I can get a better impression. Okay, so I'm going to do that. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. Now I'm going to take my paper snips, and I felt like this was a little bit too big for such a small frame. So all I did was took my paper snips and just followed this straight across where the words are, and I just made it the size that I wanted it to be. And then I decided to angle this a little bit like that. So if you have a die, and I liked this because it already had the hole punched in it. So I'm going to set this aside here, this real sticky one, because I got way too much glue on there. And I don't want to get glue everywhere else. So this is going to be, I'll say goodbye to that, right? And I'll start over with a clean piece. All right, so now what I'm going to do is just take some linen thread, and I'm going to wrap this around like this. And just make sure it kind of catches in the little scallops. Leave this one down here. It's going to be like that. And then I'm just going to tie this in a knot to start with. And that'll help hold it in place. Just snip this. I'll tie this in a knot. Okay. And then I'll just slip my tag through here. And you can decide if you want to leave the tag. And I'm going to do a bow. I think I have enough of the linen thread here that I could do just a little bow. On my sample, I just did a knot, but I'm going to do a small little bow. Try to anyway. Okay. And I like to put my finger on the center of the knot, and then I can adjust the size of the loops. I'm going to trim this up here like that. And then what I want to do is, you could leave the Mary just hanging loose like that, but I wanted it to stick so that you could read it. So I'm going to just take a glue dot and put it I'll pick it up and just put it behind that tag. And then it'll sit, I can put it right where I want it, and I like that. Now, I have these long stems. I'm just going to snip those off like that. So there I have my little focal point, my little vignette. And so what you can do is, if you want to make, I thought this was really cool because this Stitch So Sweetly shape fit perfectly right inside my frame. And so what I did was I cut a piece of white, and then I actually would like open this up. I'll show you. And there's actually a mat here, so I actually mounted my white piece. Now this is a stitched rectangle, which I didn't do. I just used a regular piece of white. And then what I would do is hold this mat over this piece so that I would know exactly where to position my little vignette. So that's how I did that. But if you don't want to do something like this, this also makes a super cute focal point for a card. Let me put this back together here. I'll slip this back here. And so what I did was I just picked out, this is a note card and envelope, and I'm using a piece of the In Good Taste Designer Series paper, and this is just attached to the note card, and then I would just put this right on there, and it's just sweet and simple. And then of course you want to finish it by adding a couple champagne rhinestones. And I also found with these, you want to make sure that your watercolor paper is dry before you attach these, because I found out that they do not stick when this paper's wet. So I'm just going to kind of randomly scatter these on my trees. You can put as many or as few as you want. I like to do a lot. Something like this, I just think it kind of adds to it. So there's my simple little vignette. Isn't that cute? And then let me bring this in, and look, I would just attach that like that, and I just think it's a sweet little card to give to someone. Okay, so that is my first project. One is on a card and one is just in a little frame. And let me set those aside here. And then I had one other project that I wanted to show you, and this is with the Welcoming Woods stamp set. It's really pretty, and it is also on the retiring list. So this is a great one. Let me show you my card. So here's the card. And this says hello friend, but I think this would make a beautiful like winter sympathy card, birthday card, anything like that. And so let me bring in my little kit and all the parts and pieces. So let me show you, this is the stamp set. And so it's easy to miss this in the catalog, but it's pretty cool because you have the tree trunks. They sort of look like birch trees, but there are snowflakes and leaves, so you could do like a fall scene with the leaves falling or on the trees. You could of course do the snowflakes. This is like the little ground, which we'll use today, and then a lot of different words. Thank you for your kindness, hello friends, celebrate, best wishes, happy birthday. So it kind of covers a lot of different occasions that you would need a card for. This goes together pretty quickly, so let me show you what we're gonna do. I guess I'll put this right here so you can see that. If you're liking any of these products and you would like to place an order, all you need to do is go to lauramilligan.com. You can click on, you'll see a shop now button or shop, and if you click on that, it'll take you directly to my store, and this is the host code that you'll use. Okay, so I got my parts and pieces here, starting with a Night of Navy card base. And I'm just going to fold that in half. This is, of course, 5.5 by 8.5. And then I'm going to take this square of white. I'll be posting another project on my blog some point this afternoon. And then this project will be going up tomorrow along with the replay of this Facebook Live. And I will include the measurements for this as well. But I'm going to start, this is sort of a tone on tone. I love white and Night of Navy, especially in the winter time and at Christmas over the holidays. So I'm going to start with my Night of Navy, and I'm going to go ahead and ink this. I'm going to move over here a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And this is photopolymer, and so I always like to stamp on a mat. I like my deluxe foam mat. It's an accessory to the Stamparatus, and then I love this little grid sheet because it covers up the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just position this, try to get it straight. Wait, you know what? I better make sure I'm doing it in the right direction. Yep. Okay. So it's going to go just on here, about like that. Give it a nice push. Oh boy, I need to ink that again. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it upside down. I think, you know what, actually, I think I have, let me see if I have another. Oh, okay. I'm going to ink this up really well. I think this ink pad needs to be re-inked. It seems really dry. So I'm going to go ahead and ink it up really well. Hopefully this will go better. Stamp better. Flip that over, and I'm going to line this up. like that. And I'm going to hold it here a minute and give it a good press. Aren't we glad paper has two sides to it? Okay, there we go. That looks good. Aren't those, I think the trees are pretty in the detail on them. Okay, next I'm going to take just this little, it's like the landscape, I guess you could call it, and I'm doing that in Smoky Slate. I agree, Helen. I love the little cards, and I like the frame. I like to give those. It's just a cute, sweet little gift. And I'm with you, Myra. I love anything blue and white. So I'm going to go ahead now and stamp my scenery. And you can see how it fits between the tree trunks, right? So I'm just going to stamp that there like that. Isn't that cool how they were thinking when they did this, right? And there's spaces and it fits right where the trees are. That's pretty cool. All right. Then I'm going to take a little strip of white and I'll stamp my hello friend. And I did that also, whoops, in the Night of Navy. That's over here. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to snip the end of this. Like that. And then I'm going to start putting this together. So I'm going to take my card base, and then this is just a little piece of designer paper from that Painted Cabin Suite, which is wonderful. I think this might be unavailable at the moment, but it is a gorgeous, gorgeous paper. Put this here like this. Debbie's wondering what this set is. Let me grab it and show you. It is called Welcoming Woods. You know, and Debbie, where you live, I know you have a lot of birch trees, and that's what this reminds me of. I actually saw some birch trees along the side of the road coming home from Virginia this weekend too, but yes, it's called Welcoming Woods. So then I'm just going to take this and attach this. I think this would make a beautiful winter sympathy card. Add some glue. I'll just position that there like that. Okay. Then I'm going to show you what I did for this. I thought this was kind of fun with this silver trim. So I'm going to take a piece, and what I'm going to do is just wrap it around my fingers. You know, there's so many different things. I'm going to wrap it on 2 fingers. There's so many different things you can do with ribbon and twine and that sort of thing, and it's kind of fun to switch it up sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 different loops. One is bigger than the other, and then I'm going to take my glue dots, and I'm going to put a glue dot on the top of this to kind of hold it in place. Hopefully it'll hold it in place. Yeah. Okay, so it's going to be like that. And then I'm going to take my words, which are right here, and I'm just going to flip this through like that. And so then you can see my glue dot is going to be on the back side of this. And I just thought that was kind of a fun way to attach this twine. Okay, I'm going to trim this up a little bit. And I need to kind of, okay, got to make sure. I'm going to put another, I'm going to actually put a dimensional on the back of that. Use a mini one. That's going to hold that down and secure it a little bit better. And then I'll put another dimensional down at the other end of the panel, like that. Yeah, it's a great set, and the words are really nice too. Okay, so this is just going to go on here then like this. And I like I'm going to hold this here a second and see if I can get that twine to soften up a little bit, but like that. All right. So we have that. And then I think I'm going to put a teeny little glue dot right under there because I don't like how that is sticking up. So I'm going to take just a dab of a glue dot and actually just put it on here with my fingers. And hopefully it'll be hidden. I'm going to have sticky fingers today. What can I say? Between all that glue, there we go. And that just sort of helps hold that flat. When I made my sample, it held flat anyway. But okay, so there we have that. And then I used the metallic pearls. And these come, you get a lot of them, and they come both in silver and gold. And so I'm using the gold for this card. And I just put a couple little dots right there, like that. It would also actually be pretty to scatter some in the trees or actually along the landscape there. But there's the front of my card. It's just so simple. There we go. So simple. And I want to show you an idea for the inside of the card too. Isn't that pretty? So I basically just stamped part of the big tree stamp and part of the landscape there. And that was the insert to my card. Yes, you're right, Debbie. It'd be a beautiful Christmas card. Really, really pretty. So those are my 2 projects for today. So we have this, and we have our little frame. And I have exciting news, and that is I'm pretty sure Lucy will be with me on Friday, and so we will do a Facebook Live. And if you've met Lucy before, you love her, right? And if you haven't met her yet, all I can say is you are in for a treat. She is adorable, and we have a lot of fun, and so I'm pretty sure that we have things in place for her to be here on Friday, which is not my normal day for doing a Facebook Live, but I just thought since she's here, I know that some of you have been asking about her, and so we can all look forward to that. And don't forget about bingo if you're interested. It is a lot of fun, and it's a chance to not only make some really cute cards, get some Stampin' product in your hands, but also have the chance to win some prizes, which are also Stampin' Up! Products. So I hope if you haven't joined us for that yet, I hope that you will think about joining us in December. We're doing it the week between Christmas and New Year, which is sort of a lull of activity that week. So we thought that would be a good time to do that. Be sure to check out the clearance rack if you haven't yet, and the last chance list, because there are some good things on there. And I will look forward to seeing you on Friday. I think I need to go wash my hands because my hands got really sticky today. Sometimes that just happens. And thank you so much for joining me. And as always, I hope you have time to be creative today. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a great day.